Hey, just turn off the bike.
Say that again?
I can only give you 5 minutes without charging.
Okay, that's perfect. Well,
5 minutes is fine. We'll make it work.
yeah.
Alright everybody, I am here with my one of my buddies, and he has his beautiful second-gen Monster. And so what can you tell us about the bike?
Yeah, like you said, this is a 2011 second generation Ducati Monster. It's a 796. It has 803 cc. Unlike the older first generation Monsters, it's got a wet clutch, but it does have the single-sided swing arm. It's got electronic fuel injection instead of the old carburetors.
What have you done to the bike as far as modifications?
Yeah, so I bought the bike used. The previous owner put on Termignoni exhaust slip-ons. The evap canister has been removed. It's not really a modification. You know, there's some like aesthetic stuff, carbon fiber heat shields, but nothing really performance oriented. Somebody did a do-it-yourself tail elimination. Got the bar end mirrors. Yeah, not much modification. It's pretty stock.
Now, as far as maintenance and everything, how, you know, what most people don't understand with the Ducati is, like, how do you afford doing all the maintenance on one of these kind of bikes? And so how do you go about, you know, doing the maintenance? Do you do it yourself?
I do as much of my own work as I can. Obviously, there's some things that require specialized tools. You know, at the end of the day, a motorcycle is a very simple machine, and anybody can get a manual and learn how to do it. That being said, not everybody has time. I think it's so funny, you see like videos where people argue about whether Ducatis are expensive or not, and I've seen Ducati owners argue that they're not that expensive, but at the end of the day, yes, Ducati parts are significantly more expensive than other parts, but if you take good care of the bike, it's not that expensive. Do a lot of stuff yourself, oil changes, I do valve adjustments. It's not that bad.
Now, is this your first bike?
No, it's not.
Okay, so what have you had besides this?
So I started on a 250cc Honda Nighthawk.
Okay.
And just like a beginner bike, and then it was way too small. I moved up to a 750cc, like 1982 Honda Nighthawk, and I had a Kawasaki LTD 550 for a while, just old dirty Japanese bikes that were always falling apart. And then finally I got a job and I was like, I can afford a Ducati, and I'm really glad that I got all my beating up bikes out of the way with the older crappy ones, because now this is something I take really good care of.
So how long have you been riding?
Like probably 10-12 years.
So what is your favorite part about this bike?
You know, I think from a mechanical perspective, having it air cooled is great. Like, you don't have to take the fairings off. It's just one less system to complicate things. I love the sound. Termignoni exhaust is really great, but this is just perfect for short scoots around town or the country. People are always like yelling at you, like rev your engine and stuff. I used to live in Italy, and what they do is they get on their scooter or their Ducati and you just ride up and down the beach and you show everybody off your motorcycle. And all the bikes are like designed for that. Like, just like quick, this is zooms around town. But if you ride for much longer, you know, the vibration and the noise, it's like, they're pretty intense bikes.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to let me review this bike, and it's an absolutely beautiful bike, and I'm really excited to take it for a spin. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another bike review. So today we are going to be reviewing a second generation Monster 796. This is one of my buddies that I ride with, and this is actually his bike. And so I said, hey man, let's trade. You can take out the 848. Yeah, let me take out the Monster, do a quick review. So that's what we're doing on this beautiful Sunday. Just a little bit of information about the bike. It has about 14,500 miles on it. He is the second owner. Has a few simple modifications on it. It has the Termi exhaust system on it with some carbon fiber heat shields. Has kind of like a DIY fender eliminator on it that the previous owner did. Not bad looking. Bar end mirrors, and deleted the evap canister, and also adjusted the handlebars. So if you can see here, the handlebar is actually twisted down for a more aggressive look, a more aggressive lean. So this bike is actually an 803cc motor. Why the Italian shows this label at a 796 and it's a 803, I don't know. I'm assuming 796 probably sounds a little better than an 803. I don't know how that works. But anyways, it's still a solid bike. It's very comfortable. So the nice thing I like about the Monsters, compared to the Super Sport, is the upright riding position. Now this one with the tilted down handlebars, it is a little bit more of an aggressive lean, I guess you could say, but you still have that very comfortable upright position. The seat on it is extremely comfortable, which is nice. So this one, if you watched the little preview with it, is you can see he has the rear cap on it for the passenger seat. This does have a passenger seat. Initially when I was looking at the Monsters, I was under the impression the ones with the caps, I didn't know it was a cap. I thought, oh, it's only a one-seater because I was, you know, dumb kid at the time. So this is in fact a two-seater motorcycle. The seat is extremely comfy and it's one big seat. And so I have to imagine the continuance of comfortability carries on to the passenger seat. So he does have the Pirelli Diablo tires on it. He has the, I don't know exactly the exact trim of the tire. I'll post it right here below for you. I actually had whatever tire he has in the front, the Pirelli Diablo. I used to have that on my 848. Those were the stock tires it came with, and I absolutely hated them. I think it was the fact that they were 5-year-old tires, and they were old and dry, and as soon as they started showing cord, I got rid of them. But they don't feel too bad on this. I have to imagine it was the whole age thing. Looks like it's got the stock handlebars. They have a 4-way adjustment for clutch, 4-way adjustment for the front brake. Small little digital cluster, nice and simple. You got the tack, nice and big across the top. You got your speedo on the right here, and on the left you got your total miles. And it looks like in the middle you got a small little section for the temp. This is the ABS model, so it does have anti-lock braking system, which is nice. I have never experienced braking on, hard braking on a bike with ABS. From what I've heard, it's absolutely revolutionary. So a couple of unique things about the second generation Monster. So this one actually comes with the wet clutch. It does not have the dry clutch like the first gen. Just like my 848, it has single-sided swing arm with the same N-key wheels on it. So that's pretty cool. I like that styling. It comes with Brembo brakes, of course. And this one actually does not come with a steering dampener. I'm not totally familiar with the Monster, history and the generations, but this one does not come with a dampener. It sounds really, really good with these Termi pipes on it, though. Sounds really good. It's very comfortable in these turns too. Even with these handlebars tilted down, which at first I really didn't care for very much, but you adjust to them very quickly, and it's actually relatively easy. Just the corner. This is a very light and nimble bike in the front end, which I like a lot. The one thing I'm not a huge fan of this is the tank position. And what I mean by that is, so my legs, where they're squeezing the tank, the tank kind of pushes out very abruptly in a kind of an aggressive V, outward V, and it does make the tank a little bit slippery. Not only that, but my resting foot position on the pegs goes to like the outward foot kind of duck style, as what it's called, and it's not very comfortable. I find it like it's a little awkward, like kind of being on the balls of my feet and kind of putting my feet that way, just because like my feet are actually halfway off the pegs right now. So I would definitely, if I were to have this bike and do a few modifications to it, I would make larger pegs for my feet, and the other thing would be I would definitely get one of those traction pads for the gas tank. definitely got a decent amount of power too. I mean, this is an 803 cc engine, so it's not shy for power. Similar to the other Ducati that I reviewed, the newer one at the dealership, the clutch is very light. It's very soft feeling. I'm sure that's a simple fix, of upgrading the levers or something like that. I have aftermarket levers on mine, which really give that clutch a nice stern feel. But yeah, that's really my only complaint with the clutch. The shifting is very short too. Your throw through the gears, up and down, it's very short on this. It's not a bad thing. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go over just the riding comfortability and the stability, the handling, braking, everything like that. I have the chance now to go up front, and I got the 848 behind me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of hit a couple of these back roads and these turns a little harder. Really get a good idea of how this bike handles in the more, putting it a little more aggressive. I'm not going to do anything crazy because it's not my bike. But here we go. So the handling feels really nice. When I had the Diablos on my 848, I really didn't like them, but they're feeling really good right now. And they're nice and warmed up too. The braking feels good. The power out of the turns is amazing. Oh, it's so smooth. One of the things I was talking to him about is the difference between this and the 848 with the road is you really feel connected to the road on the 848. This, I mean, yeah, you're still feeling like connected, but it's not nearly as stiff or uncomfortable, and the suspension is very forgiving on this bike, which is nice for for a back road cruising kind of bike. For a track bike, probably not so desirable, but this is an absolutely awesome bike, and it feels so great coming through the turns. The braking feels great, and the riding position through those bends feels really great as well. It's not you're not hating yourself going through every turn. It's not a super forward aggressive position, which is really nice. And as far as the ride height and everything like that, and when you're coming to a stop, so I'm about 5'11", almost 6 feet tall with my boots on, and I can easily touch the ground flat-footed with this bike. I would not recommend this for a first-time rider, and that was one of the big things that he covered too. He's like, hey, I'm glad that I had cheap Japanese bikes, because I would have killed myself on this. So this is by no means a bike for a first-time rider, but absolutely awesome bike. There was a whole lot of fun. If you guys liked what you saw, you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them below. I'll do the best I can to answer them. If not, I'll ask my buddy and he'll give me the answers. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you check out some of my other bike reviews, and as always, ride safe.